there, Morbid Maniacs! Happy New Year! I know it's been a little bit since I have uploaded anything on my channel. I'm also in a different setting because I wanted to bring back Ghostface. I am still in the process of working on what I want my background to look like, but I kind of wanted to bring him back for now. So this is what we're working with. So today I am going to be talking about something known as the Montauk Project. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the Montauk Project is actually what they based the show Stranger Things on, which I am obsessed with. My best friend Ashley got me obsessed with the show, and turns out it was actually based on a true story. I found the story to be very interesting and I wanted to share it with you all. So the Montauk Project takes place in a decommissioned military base, which is known as Camp Hero, or the Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York. Now, the true story is said to have been what inspired the Netflix series Stranger Things. And if you read into some of these allegations, there are a lot of similarities. Back in the 1940s, Camp Hero was used to defend the coastline during World War II. And it would later be used during the Cold War. They would disguise the entire base as a fishing village to hide it from the Nazis. There were hidden underground bunkers, which in Stranger Things is actually the gate, the portal to the Upside Down. Now, it all begins with an experiment which is known as MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a series of human experiments which were performed on human beings. Psychoactive drugs would be used on patients who they claimed had their consent before giving them. However, it would later come out that some of these people that were given these drugs were given them without their consent. Electroshock therapy, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as other methods of torture were used. They would perform these experiments as a way to manipulate mental states and brain functions. So basically, they wanted a way to control the human mind. They wanted the ability to erase a person's memory and their mind and replace it all with their own thoughts. Now fast forward to the late 1970s and the 1980s. The stories of Camp Hero would begin circulating after a man by the name of Preston Nichols would come out with his own experiences and allegations against Camp Hero in a book series known as the Montauk Project. These stories were said to have came from their own repressed memories of their own involvement in the project. Nichols would explain that he would be kidnapped and experimented on against his own will. Nichols would write his books with a man by the name of Peter Moon, whose real name is Vincent Barbaric. Both Moon and Nichols have claimed that whether you believe the claims or not, you are in for an amazing story. They would continue on in newsletters speaking of the Montauk Project. It would soon be made into a film known as Montauk Chronicles. Now, it is believed that the government and military would perform these experiments as a form of psychological warfare techniques. These experiments would take place at an old radar tower known as ANFPS 35, to which the hums could be heard for miles. The frequency would run at 400 megahertz, and they would use these frequencies as a weapon against the mind. A lot of these experiments were said to have been performed on children illegally. Now, this is all alleged, so don't come for me, government. This is all alleged, but Supposedly, they would kidnap children and experiment on them against their own will. Now, they would choose children because they claimed that children's minds were the most flexible. The experiences would include time travel, telekinesis, teleportation, mind control, interdimensional travel, hallucinating drug experiments, and contact with extraterrestrial beings. Some children who were able to escape the Montauk Project were left with zero recollection of what had happened, while others were never seen or heard from ever again. One of the most famous legends is that of the Montauk chair. They would use this chair on children who they would place inside of it, and they would be surrounded by a bunch of electronics. It's said that if you sat inside of this chair, that your thoughts would be amplified. That means that good or bad, they would all be intensified. Anything you could think of, good or bad, would be made real. Many children would see scary creatures and other things that no child should ever have to see. One person would claim that they seen a creature so real that they even witnessed it attack another patient. A victim known as Duncan Cameron would supposedly accidentally manifest a terrifying creature with his mind. And this creature would supposedly run off into the nearby woods and begin eating people until the tower would be turned off. Former scientists of the facility would claim that in some of these experiments, they would somehow open a portal to an alternate dimension. This would unearth an otherworldly creature which was out of control and was not human, thus causing them to seize the operations in an attempt to protect the public. However, in spite of the shutdown, many believe that a lot of these creatures had escaped from the facility and are still on the loose to this day. They were not able to catch them all. A creature, which is known as the Montauk Monster, would come about in 2008 when a hairless carcass would be found, dried up along the Montauk, New York beach. The entity had sharp claws and teeth, a bleak-like snout, was hairless and bloated, and didn't look like any animal ever seen before. While experts came up with their theories as to what it was, claiming it was nothing more than a dead raccoon or dog which was bloated from being in the water. Many believe the creature to be connected to the Montauk Project, and more specifically, the Plum Island Animal Disease Center. The facility was said to have worked with animal pathogens, and the creature was said to have originated from some sort of bioengineered experiment. Today, Camp Hero is a heavily wooded area which operates as the Camp Hero State Park. The park features forests, freshwater wetlands, and also shows a view of the Atlantic Ocean. Visitors can explore the paved roads of the military base. However, the base itself is off limits and is covered in signs which read, "Do not enter." In spite of the signs, many locals have explored the abandoned facility and have claimed to have found secret tunnels, odd documents, and eerie graffiti which showed the words, "Stranger help me." Some would claim that military personnel would surveillance the area long after the facility had shut down. Humming will continue underground, which can be heard from miles away. This humming is also known to cause physical discomfort, strange dreams, and eerie sensations. So there's the story of the Montauk Project. What do you guys think of this legend? Do you guys believe that this is real? I don't want the government or the military to come for me for saying this, but I do believe that there is a very high chance that something like this could be real. If you think about it, when you're doing things in such a high, intense way, portals can be opened and things can come through those portals. And I just found this story to be very interesting because ever since my best friend got me hooked on Stranger Things, I am obsessed, and I don't know. And I've also heard a lot of, which I don't want to get too big into this because, guys, if I go missing, just know, you know what happened to me, okay? I've also heard theories about Area 51, and a lot of people were saying, what if Area 51 is actually hiding the gate to the Upside Down, and there really is a real Upside Down. We just don't know about it because we've never been, no normal person has been able to enter into Area 51. I thought that to be really interesting. This was only the tip of the iceberg. There is so much on this subject that I could make a video on. If I kept going, we'd be here all day. Like, this would be the longest video ever. So I am going to end it there, but let me know if you would like for me to make more videos on this topic in the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Become a morbid maniac. Also be sure to hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And I love you guys so, so much. I'm so happy to be back. Leave me any video suggestions that you may have in the comments below. And I will see you guys in my next one.